Hello YouTube, Dave here again. I am back with another Starfinder related video. So today I'm going to be looking at something that I think is really cool product, and something that as soon as I kind of saw it, I looked at it a little bit and I really wanted to pick it up. And this is the Starfinder Player Character Folio. So what this is, it's sort of a combination of character sheet and sort of like just a folder to carry your notes in. And to me this was just something that seemed like a really cool idea. Now there are certain things that you could probably do to improve it overall, but it is still a really interesting and neat concept. So what it is, it's sort of like this, got this glossy cover here. And on the inside it has just a series of charts and tables and things that your player characters or your players are going to find very useful. Certain things like just the actions in combat, because they are a little bit different in this game than they are in like regular Pathfinder or any of the other D20 Dungeons and Dragons products. For example, you've got standard actions, which are more or less kind of self-explanatory, like activate item, attack, melee attack at range, cast spell, all those things. But then you have like your full actions, which take the full rounds, which is like charge, coup de grace, fight defensively, and full attack, which is a little bit different in this game than it is in others. So it's just kind of neat that it has that. It's got some nice artwork as well, just to really kind of give you an idea what the Starfinder game is all about. It gives you the level dependent information, like when you gain your experience levels, ability increases, and anything special that you get, like feats or your theme benefits. And on the inside it has spaces for you to write down information about your character. So you've got, for example, your player, who the player is, and then you got like basically the information about the character itself, initiative, speed, ability scores and adjustments, armor class, saving throws, senses, hit points, stamina, resolve points, as well as explanation again of all the different abilities. So for example, here it explains full attack, which is full action, 2 attacks, each at a -4 penalty instead of having the iterative attacks that you had before. With base attack, it gives you cover and concealment information, common conditions, which is always good. It gives you information on fighting in 0 gravity. And the other really cool thing about this as well, if you take a look, it also gives you the page references to find the specific rules if you want to look at them in more detail in the Starfinder core rulebook. Over here you've got your skill information. So you got like, just aim this up a little bit. So you got things like recall knowledge, repair magic or technology, acrobatics, athletics, diplomacy. Then you've got gather information, engineering, mysticism, perception, piloting, which is always useful as well. And then in these other pages you have your offensive items, armor class, saving throws, attack bonuses, attacks, offensive abilities and class features, your skills, has them all listed out, your feats, so you can even write like a description of what they do, where they come from, because it has like the source, has your feats by level, so there's just a lot of information here, your racial traits. So this is basically a massive character sheet. You've got augmentation, so you can replace parts of your body with cybernetics, for example. You've got weapons and weapon fusion. There's a lot of really great information that's on this, and if you really are playing an in-depth Starfinder campaign, then this is a pretty good product to have. It has your spells and spell casting, and if you are the mechanic, I think it is, you have a robotic drone that you get, so there's a section for you to do everything for your drone, which is cool. You've got your background, you've got your family information, affiliations, character sketch. What's really cool is I like this little section for the home, hideout, or base, and it actually has a little bit of grid paper here, so you can actually draw out a map of your home base if you wanted to. Just nice little details like that. You've got your advancement information. The achievements is something that I think is actually really cool here. So you've got like most weapon damage dealt, most spell damage dealt, so most number of times hit by a critical, if you want to keep track of that, number of deaths, highest armor class ever hit, highest armor class ever achieved, most credits possessed at one time, most credits gained at one time, computers hacked, traps disabled or sprung, greatest number of foes in one fight, unique monsters slain, enemy starships defeated, new planets or systems discovered, new alien creatures discovered, new sentient species contacted, alien ruins explored. And I think what's kind of cool about that is you can kind of keep track of everything that you've done. And it's kind of an interesting idea to keep track of things like what's the most damage I've ever dealt with an attack? What's the most damage or how many times have I been critted on? How many times has my character died and had to be brought back? How much, credits have I ever had at, one time? These are all kind of neat things. Now, not everybody's going to want to keep track of this sort of thing, but for me, I think it's actually pretty cool. One of my favorite RPGs to play for a video game is Dragon Age Origins, and it actually tracks stuff similar to that for each of the characters and shows it on the loading screens. So it's just kind of cool. They also have things like creature type slain, so you can keep track of how many of these types of creatures you've defeated, like aberrations, monstrous humanoids, ooze, outsiders, undead. Notable NPCs gives you information that you can kind of keep track of, what their names are. You got allies and you've got foes, and then you've got campaign log, which just lets you keep track of each session. So you put the date, a basic description perhaps of what you did, how much experience points that you gained for that session, did you level, did you die, and was there a notable foe encountered. And then just on the back here, whoops, so the next set of pages is all about starships. So if you have a starship, you can have all of its information there, and it gives some basic information on starship combat. So if it comes down to it, that's something that you can do. And just on the back here, you've got some notes. And then Starfinder Society Role-Playing Guild, so if you do the organized play, you can kind of keep track of some of that as well. And we top it off with the conditions continued. So these parts are also where you've got the conditions are also flaps, so you can actually hold handouts and other bits of information in there as well, which is really cool. So you got two sections where you can actually store some notes and hold on to some things, and that's basically the player character Folio. So there's some really great things about this, but there's also one major change that I would have personally made if this was a product that I had designed. For me, I love all the information that is in here. I think it's absolutely great. I honestly, though, just as a collector, I don't think I can bring myself to actually write on these. These parts here seem like they would erase easily enough, so you can use it for multiple characters, and that's all well and good, but I just, again, would find it very difficult to actually want to, mark this with pencil or pen or anything, just because, again, I like to collect things as much as I like to play these games. So for me, I would probably make a scan of this, and I would have it as a separate sheet that I would just put in one of the folders. But it is great to see a lot of the information in here, like combat maneuvers, what they are, and how to do them. Zero gravity, not that you're going to use that a lot, but if the situation ever occurs, it's nice to have it, at least a basic bit of information on it, to have it handy there. Having all of the skill check information is also really great, and just all the information, all the room that they give you for your character sheet is fantastic. This is a very extensive character sheet. The issue is for me, it's connected, like it's actually attached by staples to the inside of the folder itself, and I don't know how many times you're going to be able to reuse, because this is just basic run-of-the-mill regular paper. So it's going to start to wear out if you continuously use it or continuously make changes. Things, for example, such as changing your armor class, which happens, changing your fortitude save bonuses, which again can happen, changing your base attacks as you level up for certain classes, something that you do every single level. So eventually you're going to end up wearing these out. The skills are also something that you're going to, wear this section out every time you level up, because you're going to be changing your skill ranks. If you change your ability score modifier, you have to change all that as well. So it's one of those things that I would have preferred it if this had, instead of being stapled to everything, having the information that's in paper here be separated from the actual folder itself. Now, it's something that you can do, and it does look like I can see that it's got a staple up here in the middle, that's actually separate from the rest of this, so you probably can pull these pages out of the staples. I just don't like doing that either personally because I'm worried about damaging it, but I kind of wish they would have just had this something completely separate and just have these, because they are numbered, instead of having them as like pages that are, you've got the two pages connected and you just have these folded in half. It would have been nice to have had each of these be maybe a separate sheet. For example, the skill information is something that you're probably never going to need to change. So you can have this on the back of a sheet that maybe contains on the other side something that you're also not going to have to erase or constantly reuse. And for me, that would probably be something like, if I can find it here again, have the skills on one side, have Starship Combat on the other, and then the rest of it can just be an extensive character sheet. But again, if it's not attached to the actual folder itself, then and the pages are all separated and not like folded over as if it was a regular sort of paperback book, then I think this would have been a complete and total slam dunk, personally, because I just think this is such a cool product, but there are definitely ways that they could have improved it. So anyway, I just wanted to show this off because I still absolutely love it. The retail price is $9.99 US, and I think that worked out to around $12.50 or $13 Canadian is what I ended up paying for it. So for me, it's still a decent price, and I actually like this product overall more than I did the Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition character sheets. There are a few minor changes that I would definitely make to this to make it even better, but this is a really cool product overall. So it's something that if you're into Starfinder, at the very least, even if you never use the actual sheets that are provided here, you can always photocopy them and stick them in where they have the folder section. But just to have, again, the rule information, I think is really great. Like your cover, zero gravity, your conditions are great, combat actions, combat maneuvers, and all the skill stuff, the Starship Combat, all that stuff I think is really great to have. And it is cool to have an extensive character sheet that, again, you could just make photocopies of and use if you're not. Now, not everybody's going to be as hesitant to actually mark the stuff as I am, and I totally understand that. But from my perspective, this is one of those things that I'm going to use more for a folder to hold stuff than I'm going to actually mark anything in the book, in the product itself. Again, I'll make photocopies. I definitely plan on scanning these and making copies of like these pages so that I can make it into a large comprehensive character sheet, but I'm not going to actually mark the product itself. But that's more of a me thing. So anyway, I just wanted to kind of show that off and give my thoughts of it. Again, for the price, you're getting a really good product. It's nice quality, nice full color. Even though you're only getting the one sort of character sheet to use, I still, like I said, I like this better than the 5th edition character sheets, which just were the exact same ones that you could print off the website on your own. So for me, this one just gives you sort of more to go off of, and to me, this is more worth the $12 to $13 that I paid for it than those other character sheets were. So anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. If you have one of these, have you used it for your character, or are you more like me and you just want to photocopy it and just have the independent character sheets that you can just use in the folder section? Anyway, thank you guys very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and we'll see you next time.